85,
90.
90, 95.
We're playing for keeps.
We're on the market. Stay strong, sir.
Sold!
Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 25th of March. My name's Philip Kingston.
And I'm Gary
Gary,
Pearce.
I've got spring in my step because...
bit early for spring.
Spring follows winter, follows autumn. We're in autumn, looking forward to winter, looking forward to spring. But spring has sprung at our auctions last weekend, Gary, because it felt like bees and honey and flowers and generally great activity. We had some great results at a fabulous clearance rate where we yet again smashed the market. Over to you, Gary.
Thank you very much. You're getting a little bit ahead of yourself talking that spring language, Phil, but it was an exciting weekend, and the clearance rate, Philip, for Gary Pearce Associates was 88%, 21 out of 24, Philip, against the industry average of 67%. Let's put up them towers.
Smashed the
and,
industry average,
let's put
Gary.
a little bit of sparkle on it because that's a pretty good weekend, isn't it,
It's a
Phil?
good
We'll take
weekend,
it.
and let's focus on the industry for the moment.
Yes,
Because
let's do that.
whilst we're getting these great results,
We are.
the industry seems to have stuck itself between 65 and
Yes,
75%.
seems to be there, yeah.
We were hoping for better clearance rates from the industry, Gary.
Yeah.
What do we think is happening? And let's be truthful on GPTV, Gary. No spin now. Where do we think the market is?
Well, this is the end of the first quarter. It's the last GPTV for
Of the
March.
first quarter.
So I'm sorry
Yep.
for that, because I know people would like it to go on and on and on, but no, we're going to could be in April next week. Look, let's just recap the year. It started off more people at more properties, a big burst.
Yep.
To open.
Massive February.
Massive February with good volume,
Slightly
a lot
better
of quality.
January.
A lot of quality, but Philip, alas, a lot of the volume has not been replaced with volume.
Yes.
And I think what we've seen is the big investors sell off in 2024. So a
Okay.
lot of investors said, I've had enough of this land tax and these, all of these regulations and restrictions and rates, and the rents really haven't gone up that much as we hoped.
Gary,
So a lot of, I'm getting to it.
You
So a
know,
lot of investors
that's
sold
last
off.
year,
Yeah,
yep.
I know. And now this year, the volume of sales and offerings are a little bit less, notwithstanding the euphoric start. Buyer numbers are still up, Philip, compared to last year.
Well, then why are the clearance
Clearance
rates not better for the industry?
Because a lot of buyers are still just poised, Philip. A lot
Aha,
of them
so
are
we're
poised.
slightly now zeroing in on the truth.
They're poised. It's not about the truth. It's about the definition.
It's
Phil.
always about the truth, Gary. Some people can't handle the truth. The
You
question is,
can't handle the truth.
question is,
Yes.
can you? So here's you've given us all of this fluff, right? As a cynical observer,
Yeah.
a cynical observer would say this: well, if the market's so great,
Yeah.
I mean, putting Gary Pearce and Associates aside, where our clearance rates are really, really good,
They are great.
Why is the industry not clearing 75 to 80%? A little bit underneath us. Our
Because-
viewers accept that we're
Yes.
always going to do better than the industry. But
Yeah.
if the market was great, the clearance rates would be better than 67%.
Well, I think 67% is a very good clearance rate. It's a
Okay.
positive clearance rate.
Yeah.
We've got a market that's probably in balance.
Yes.
I don't think it's a buyer's market. I don't think it's a vendor's market either, Phil.
Yes.
Although I think it's more a vendor's market than a buyer's market.
Yes.
Still, but we've seen a lot of FOMO in the past. There's not that much FOMO now. Buyers will stand up,
Yep.
make a stand, jump in where they think it's value, and then they'll say, no, if the gap is between where we think market is and the vendors here, we're not transacting.
So we've finally zeroed in on where I'm trying to lead you, right? Because you've said one thing so far
Yep.
that's actually bang on the money.
Okay.
And that is 65 to 70% is actually a market imbalance.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So viewers...
You've led me there.
Yeah, no.
You took the horse to
no,
water,
because I wanted
and
to
I drank
I
it.
wanted to test
Yeah,
this
okay,
because
yeah.
if you look at our results,
Yeah.
you'd think we're in boom, right?
Yeah.
Now, viewers, we know we get better results more often than not than the general market because we think we do it better than the general market. So our results, when you look at our results and say, oh, they're 85, they're 88, they're 92, and then there's the industry at 65%, people might go, oh, well, maybe the market's not performing. 65 to 70% is a market absolutely in balance.
Now, I want to talk about the market a
Can
little
I,
bit.
can I finish off one
Yeah,
point
you
I'd
can.
like to make?
Yeah,
'Cause
going on a
if you
bit,
look at
gotta
our
say.
results, and
Yeah.
we'll talk about a few of them, we had some amazing results still. So a market in balance means some things will sell pretty much where they're meant to, very few where they're not meant to, and still some that outperform and
Yep.
do really well with multiple buyers.
We'll talk about some of those standouts.
Yep.
I want to talk about the pre-auction offer or the pre-auction sale, Philip.
Yes.
who wins, who loses. Do vendors win? Do buyers lose? Do buyers win? Do vendors lose? And there is a very high ratio last week of pre-auction sales, and there have been a lot more across the whole industry, which is interesting. So, what do you think the reason for that is? I'm going to throw now over to you to see what you think the reason is why it's such a high ratio of pre-auction sales.
I think this is the first episode in our 600 episodes, Gary, where we're actually talking about something meaningful instead of trivial, silly banter. So we sell a lot of properties before auction.
Yeah, we do.
The auction process is not a process where we say we have to go to auction on a given Saturday or a given Sunday. It's a process where from the moment the forthcoming auction board goes up, we are saying we are now for sale. And we're for sale right up to the auction. So there's the first sale process. The auction is the second sales process. And if we pass it in, the third process is selling after auction.
It's a three-step process.
So three-step process. So a
Took a long time to
lot
say
of our
that.
properties where we find the right buyer, it might be week 1, week 2, even in a couple of days prior to the auction, the right buyer emerges, makes the right offer. We go through a series of checks and balances to make sure that that person is the right buyer at the right price.
Yep.
So you don't have to wait for auction day, because I think last week we sold, what was our percentage pre-auction?
I think it was close to 40%.
40%.
That's as high as it gets. Yeah, and that was quite interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are looking at a property with us or any other agent, understand that for most good agency practice is, if you want to talk about buying it now, we're ready to talk. And it doesn't have to happen until auction day.
And equally, I think if you're a vendor, you need to have a preparedness. I think a lot of this revolves around the agent's expertise as well. And this is not just a sales spiel, because we're not the only, good agent. We're the best agent, but not the only good agent. But I think a lot of it revolves around it, because the vendor's expectations have got to be, I guess, managed. The buyer's buying position has to also be managed, and you've got to bring these things together, and it's not always, and you've got to do it in a way that still gives the purchaser a good opportunity and transparency, but you've also got to give the vendor a chance, Philip, to be able to have more than one buyer.
And sometimes day one, the first buyer through the door may well be your buyer.
Sometimes the first is your best, but sometimes not.
But sometimes it takes us, we can go week 1, not have found the right buyer, week 2, not have found the right buyer, but week 3, right, when you are starting to go, I'm wondering how this is going to pan out, week 3 the buyer comes in, they might have been away for the first 2 weeks or been busy with whatever on the weekend. So it's a step-by-step process.
And the vendor is so reliant on you to get it right.
Yes.
Because if you don't get it right, you can miss the best buyer.
Expertise is everything, Gary.
Or you can sell and then you can miss a better buyer.
Yep.
So again, you are very much dependent on the agent.
We are so aligned in agreement today.
We are.
How good is that?
Yeah,
Let's
it's boring,
talk
isn't it?
about some results from the weekend, Gary. Take us through
I
some
just want to
things.
also talk about the fact that we're breaking records. We're making records and we're breaking records. Like I look back to, was it Amelia Street? That was a home that was sold just under $5 million.
Yes.
There's another home off market, sold just under $11 million.
Yes.
We've got Seaview Street coming up this weekend, which could be in the 5s, approaching $6 million.
Could be 6 plus.
It's interesting because there's some, and you look at some of the really big homes in Toorak, for example, that are selling now for $20 and $30 million. $50 million.
150.
100. It's like you have our own option here now, 200 million. But we're breaking some records and setting some records in and around the city of Glen Eira, aren't we, Phil?
We are,
and in Murrumbeena and Carnegie, 3.8, 3.9, $4 million. It's unbelievable. Anyway,
It's festive times, Gary.
exciting.
Don't we love it? That's why we have to stay fit and healthy so we can keep up with our manic sales team. Gary, some sales from the weekend.
Yeah, I'm not going to wait for the weekend to talk about the sales. Phil, what about Twilight last week? We were at number 344A Bamber Road, which was,
Beautiful house.
was quoted 3 to 3.3, sold undisclosed, but let's just say the range was an accurate reflection. Philip, that was a beautiful home, wasn't it? And
Lovely.
I guess
Lovely.
Brand new.
Turnkey house, Gary.
Turnkey home.
Move in there, don't need to spend a cent. That one was good to go. Landscape garden, swimming pool, everything was brand new. It was beautiful.
While you were there, Leo Samuel was in Warnack Road. He loves a Twilight auction, like we all do, Phil. 3 bidders for that property, sold for $1,210,000, well beyond its range, reserve, and expectation. Phil, some of the auctions on the weekend. Well, you were a little busy butterfly, weren't you? You were going from Malvern East to Paran East, to Elwood. You were a busy man
I-
on Saturday.
I
You
did-
got a few Ks on the
At least I
car.
was kind of going in the right
Yes.
direction.
Not by coincidence.
Not a zigzag.
I made sure of that, Phil.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I
good
do.
on you.
I look after
Boston
you.
Avenue, shout out to Kevin Huang from our office,
Yep.
who acted there for our vendors, sold it in front of a big crowd.
Undisclosed,
price
yeah.
there is undisclosed.
But the
a
range was
really,
3.3 to 3.6.
a really good, solid sale there, Gary.
Yep. Then you got to Chomley Street, Philip. That was undisclosed as well, but
Wonderful
sold
townhouse
in
viewers.
that low ones range
Yep,
somewhere.
yep.
And Ormond Esplanade,
That
Phil.
was quoted at 1.2 to 1.32 for
Yep.
those that are wondering, having a look at the screen. And Ormond Esplanade, what a fabulous apartment.
Love that place.
Unfortunately, viewers, a lot of our buyers and a lot of our sellers just say, can we have the price undisclosed? Not our preference.
No, that's not undisclosed.
Okay, well, what was the price?
It was sold for $2,495,000, which is
Okay.
the upper part of the range of the of what we suggested, Phil.
And shout out to the owners of that property, who are wonderful, wonderful people who we've worked with for many, many years, and they're moving on. Thank you for your business.
And people say that you are a Caulfield agent. Well, we're best known in Caulfield, but here you are in Elwood. You've been down to Malvern East. You've been to Paran East, and Jeremy Rosens was in Toorak Road,
Selling
So
all
beautiful
the best
apartment.
suburbs.
And he sold that apartment, Philip, for just under $2 million, 1,910. It was more expected to go in the mid ones, but sold in the high ones.
Incredible.
And on Sunday, Philip, there was a sale in Lockhart Street, which was sold for $1,770,000 by Leo Samuel and his crew.
So a busy week, and just to recap, how many auctions did we have?
24, 21 out of 24.
21 out of
Yeah.
24, that's an 89%.
88%.
88%
Yeah.
clearance. That's a shout out to the team, because that's a lot of auctions across a lot of suburbs, across a lot of different price points. So to smash the industry average, again, just saying we do things differently.
Gone and done is the first quarter, Phil. We get into the second quarter. Your feelings, views, thoughts and predictions, which I was interviewed on for our team from the peer review. Because there's
Yes.
peer reviews coming out very
Good.
quickly.
Stay
in fact.
tuned.
Yeah. So volume looks a bit low right across the industry, Phil.
It is. It is. I think that there's a lot of distractions going on at
Yeah.
the moment. I think we'd like an election called so we can get that election.
What's with that? I'm not bagging the government, but what's with that? How come it takes so
Do you know
long?
what? They've got a window.
Yeah.
It's up to them.
I've got
as
a window too.
Yeah,
I've got
but
a whole
it's up
lot
to
of
them
windows.
as to when they call
Yeah.
it. So we can't influence Albo's decision making
Yeah.
around that. But at least when they announce it, that's one less distraction in the marketplace. I think the general view, and here's the thing about being a buyer. I think buyers are sitting around going, oh, we're going to wait for interest rates to come down. Well, the trouble is, when that happens, and it will happen, no doubt,
At some time.
at some point, at some stage in the cycle, then the market just goes ballistic. So you've got people sitting on the sidelines, oh, I'm going to wait and see what happens. It's generally that waiting period where the best houses sell at prices where people look backwards and go, oh, I should have bought that. And we go, well, we kind of did tell you to do so. So if I was a buyer now, I'd be buying now, because the market will go up over time, as it always does.
And Q2 2024, Philip, is going to be a low volume
Q2,
market.
love it.
Q2, because
Q2
usually
2025.
Q2 2025. Sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a year behind. Q2
3 years behind,
2025.
Gary. Keep up.
No, I said 2024. I'm still, enjoying last year a little bit. But Q2 2025 is going to be a little bit quiet with offerings, Phil. And I don't know whether spring's going to be such a unbelievable amount. So if you see your home that's a 7 or 8 out of 10, ticks most of the boxes, I'd say go for it.
I always say anything that's a 7 or above,
Yep.
you've got to have a go at.
Well, that's what your wife did with you, isn't it?
Well,
she saw you at 7 and she thought I could wait for a 10.
I think somebody
but,
told her anything over 5 was doable.
Yeah, and you were 5.1, so she thought that's good enough. Let's move on to this week's offerings. Phil, we've got some beautiful homes coming to market. We're going to have a little
Let's
sneak of this here.
have a look,
We've
Gary.
got
What have we got?
27 auctions scheduled during the week and also on the weekend. I won't be able to see you during the week, Phil, because I'm going to a conference.
Yes, another conference,
Yes,
Gary.
I am, with
Yep.
a number of our fine property management people. In fact, we've got a panellist on one of our conferences.
Excellent.
Jenny Coy is going to be talking at this Australia-wide conference, so well done to her, the leader of our property management department. A little photo of her. Thanks to you, Jenny. You do the best job.
Thanks, Jenny.
Let's move on to our first one, which is going to be tonight, Philip, at 7 p.m. in Steele Street. You're the auctioneer for this terrific town residence with this
Gary,
beautiful
I'm
big
not
back
sure
garden.
that I am. I think Jeremy Rosens
maybe
might
he is.
be, but
Yeah.
what
No,
a
yes,
great
he
property.
is.
That's a beautiful home. You can move straight into this, not spend a cent, because everything's been done. Fabulous floor plan, really good bedroom accommodation. A couple of my favourite features, love the kitchen meals family room. I also love the north-facing back
Yes.
garden, which is one of the best back gardens you get for a property like that. So looking forward to
Race
that.
off there tonight. and get there. It's at 7 o'clock, and you're right, Jeremy Rose is doing the auction, and it's a very exciting one, Phil. But tomorrow you will have centre stage at 6:30 p.m. in Nearham Road. You're meeting Leon Guzin
And
there.
Vanessa McGlynn, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, off-street car parking, a swimming pool. That's a beautiful home. Move straight into that. Get on with life.
I'm going to miss our twilight auctions in winter, Phil. We don't have many then, do we? Let's move on to Thursday night, Philip. 5:30 p.m. There's an auction at 9 at 575 Inkerman Road, Caulfield North.
I'm
Auction yet to be
meeting
determined.
Vanessa McGlynn, John Sweepo. This is a beautiful Art Deco building that's just actually had a complete paint job from the outside, and they've done a beautiful job. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car space, beautiful polished timber floorboards, all of the charm of the era.
I was to do the auction, but I'm sorry I'm not going to be here, Phil. So you've got honours there. At 6:30 you'll be jumping off to Tattenham Street in Caulfield East.
Meeting Leon and Maya there, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a lock-up garage, another car space in front. That's got everything that opens and shuts, and what a great location.
We talked about record prices, Phil. Let's talk about record-breaking homes, and there's one right here in Seaview Street, Caulfield South. The finest home, perhaps, ever to come to the market in Caulfield South.
This is an incredible property owned by an architect, and he has done the most incredible job. This is 6 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms. Plenty of off-street car parking for perhaps up to 8 cars. That is the most extraordinary home. And if you want to just look at an incredible house, let alone buy it, but if you want to come and see an amazing home, that one is handled by Daniel Peer and Arlene Joffe, one of the standout listings of 2025.
Let's kick into the weekend, Phil. We've got 12 different suburbs being represented over Saturday and Sunday. We've got an auction, or a couple of them, at 10 a.m. Clifton Road in Hawthorne East is where Simon Redolnik graces us.
Meeting
at
Vanessa
10 a.m.
McGlynn and John Sweepo there, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car space. What a great property that is.
We go from Hawthorne East, Phil, to Morty Alec, also at 10 a.m. with Graham Callan.
Meeting Rishi Thacker there, 3 bedrooms, 2 beautiful bathrooms, a lock-up garage, another car space in front. What a great location, what a great home.
Beautiful alfresco living by the look of it, Phil, in this home in Nearham Road, Murrumbina. Leor Samuel auctions at 10:30 a.m.
Meeting Christian there, 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. This is a stunning home. It is so beautifully done. The alfresco area there is incredible. That's a standout home.
Double auction action, Philip, at 11:30 a.m. I'm going to be in Olive Street, Caulfield South.
Meeting Joel Sir and Liam Elbaum there, 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms. What a beautiful property. And Olive Street is so good as a location, particularly now that Woolworths has opened and Aldi has opened.
Indeed, Phil, like you, I love the Munsters. What a great show that was in the 70s. One at 38 Munster Avenue, Carnegie, is where Leor Samuel's auctioning at 11:30.
2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a lock-up garage. Meeting Rishi Thacker and Leor Samuel there. What a great home.
And Leor Samuel's got his 3rd auction already at 12:30, this time in Neville Street, Carnegie.
Meeting Izzy Anstey there, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, lock-up garage, beautiful parcel of land, stunning inside, stunning outside. That's a home to come and have a look at, let alone that's the home to buy.
You open your auction account on Saturday, Phil, for the weekend in Rosalie Street at 1:30 p.m.
What a great home, Gary. This is 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms, a lock-up garage, wrap-around courtyard gardens. In fact, the garden there could be something extraordinary. That's a really good home that you can move into, but it's also a home that you could add some value to.
6892 Glahuntley Road is scheduled for 1:30 on Saturday, Phil.
Beautiful
Lovely
home. Mark Kirkham, Sally Zellman and Adi Ignatius have had the auction honours there. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a underground car space and storeroom. A beautiful building, a great location.
At 1:30, Philip, 29 O'Mama Road, Murrumbina hits the market. Leor Samuel, yet another auction for him.
Christian de Freck has had the honours there together with Dizzy Wang. That's 5 incredible bedrooms, 2 beautiful bathrooms, plenty of off-street car parking. That home is completely and totally stunning.
Oh, mama. That's a beautiful property. Phil, at 2:30, Jeremy Rosen's auctions in Alexander Street, meeting Joel Sir over there.
And Reno Publior, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 car space. That's a beautiful property. Move straight in, get on with life.
We've got 4 auctions at 2:30. Phil, yours is at 9 Moore Street, Bentley East.
Gary, what an amazing home. John Sweepo and Vanessa McGlynn have had the honours there. That's 5 incredible bedrooms, 3 magnificent bathrooms. That has got off-street car parking, double lock-up garage, That's got everything that opens and shuts. That, I can't wait to be there because that's a stunning home.
I'll bet not. The fifth auction for Leo Samuel is in Mernda Avenue, Carnegie. Phil, he's a busy man, isn't
Well,
he?
he's meeting his brother who will hold him up there. 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, double garage, swimming pool. That's the home with absolutely everything. What a stunning property.
Simon Radolnik looks forward to his auction at 2:30. He's going to be in Parkville, Phil.
Meeting there, Izzy Anstey and David Thompson. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, situated on 182 square metres of land, which is a big parcel of land for that location. You don't get a better suburb than Parkville.
Your third and final auction at 3:30 p.m. is in the Highway Bentley, Phil.
Number 33, the Highway Bentley, meeting Leon Gusenfitter and Vanessa McGlynn there. 4 magnificent bedrooms, 3 beautiful bathrooms. That has got plenty of car parking area for perhaps 3 cars. You've got everything that opens and shuts, been renovated and virtually just given the full makeover. It is magnificent.
Phil, I've got auction honours to kick off Sunday at 11:30 a.m. You can have a little sleep in. I'm going to be up and about in Glen Huntly Road.
What an incredible apartment that, Gary, with a huge terrace that looks towards the north. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms and a basement car space. Mark Kirkham and Uddy Ignatius there have had the honours.
One at 78 Hawthorne Road, Caulfield North, is Graham Callan's 11:30 auction.
2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom and 2 car spaces directly across the road from Caulfield Park. That is a lovely apartment, a really good building and an incredible location.
We're rolling you out for your first auction on Sunday afternoon at 12:30, Phillip and Inkerman Road.
Love this development, Gary. 3 bedrooms and a study, 2.5 bathrooms, a lock-up garage, beautiful courtyard garden areas, north-facing orientation, architecturally designed, really good property, and you've got everything on your doorstep. And meeting there, of course, Joel Sir, Daniel Fisher and Liam Elbaum.
I don't think I've ever seen a bigger terrace in any apartment, Philip. Certainly not one in this price range in Blenheim Street in Balaclava, on the corner of Balaclava Road, amongst all of the Balaclava Road cosmopolitan action, Phil.
Well, what a great building. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, Gary. Basement car parking for 2 cars. You're meeting Daniel P. Romy Skolnick and Bernard Mell there. That is a great building. And of course, you've got all of the Carlisle Street groove that's happening right on your doorstep.
Triple auction action at 1:30. Philip kicked off at 57 Alexander Street, St Kilda East.
Yeah, don't we love that location? That's 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a double lock-up garage in tandem, courtyard gardens. Don't we love Alexandra Street? That is the best address, really. You've got Dandenong Road at one end, you've got Carlisle Street at the other, a great spot.
And it's been very popular, Phil, very popular indeed. 6B Newstead Street is your 1:30 auction. What a beautiful looking home.
Looking forward to this, Gary. Leon Gusenfitter and Leo Barr have had the honours there. 4 bedrooms, 4 magnificent bathrooms, beautiful courtyard gardens. That is just the most stunning and brilliantly designed property with absolutely everything.
And Jeremy Rosens brings out his gavel to close off our Sunday with his 1:30 and 2:30 auction. 1:30 is going to be at 20 Hawthorne Road.
Gary, love that property, love that address. Really good apartment, 2 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms, a storage cage and a secure car space. Great location.
And at 2:30, the last auction of the weekend is 62A Cambrook Road. Joel Sir's been handling that with Daniel Fisher and his team. They're looking forward to meeting Jeremy Rosens.
What an incredible town residence that is, Gary. 3 or 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, secure basement car parking, storage room, storage facilities. That is a great property, great development, and you've got the Caulfield Park, you've got the Balaclava Road tram, you've got the Caulfield train station, and you've got the East Caulfield Shopping Centre. Doesn't get better than that location.
We've got 3 properties to feature, Philip, before we run. One of those is 29 Moore Street, Caulfield South. Joel has been extremely excited about this upcoming auction.
Dan Gutman, Darren Krongol, 4 bedrooms and a study, 2.5 bathrooms, a double garage, and sits on 667 square metres of land. A beautiful family home in a beautiful family street.
And I know you've been excited about this property that's had a lot of interest and a lot of people through, and that is in Mitford Street, Elwood, Phil.
Huge numbers there, Gary. This is apartments numbers 1, 2 and 3 on one title. You've got 3 car spaces at the front, potential to get more car parking in from a right-of-way at the rear. You've got really big apartments, 3 fabulous apartments with 1 apartment that occupies the entire ground floor. Lots of interest, as there should be in such a dynamic location.
And this period style masterpiece, Phil, with this incredible rooftop, goes to auction soon in April. 12 at 1A Acton Street, St Kilda.
Well, Gary, this is the Summerland Mansions. This apartment is just breathtaking. You can move straight into it, but firstly, it's 3 bedrooms and a study. It has a secure car space. It's got beautiful period features. It's in one of these buildings, Gary, that, you know, it's been built to last many, many lifetimes. And that's part of the romance of buying into the Acland Street, St Kilda, Fitzroy Street area. You've got everything on your doorstep. You can move into this apartment, but you can also add some value, so I love it.
That's why the vendors have stayed there for how long, Phil?
50 odd years, I think.
Unbelievable.
Incredible.
Bad for business though, isn't it?
Not good.
No,
not
very
good.
selfish. Please, people, viewers, please just sell your home every few years.
Every
Please
5 years. I think
5
if
years maximum.
everybody just made their decision to sell every 5 years, Gary, we could buy a bigger boat.
Well, I think with all we could, and maybe even get a plane eventually, you know.
Exactly.
But I think if the government's going to have policy around property, Philip, it should be compulsory to sell no longer than 5 years, or there should just be a fee paid to agents.
I mean, if you think about
Yeah.
it, Gary, it's good for agents. Because we make more commission,
Good for
so we can
removalists.
spend more, right?
Yep.
So we can spend more, so put the money back in the economy. Because agents cannot save money;
No,
they
we
generally
put it
spend
straight back in here.
The government gets more stamp duty.
Yep.
Like,
Solicitors,
between
removalists.
between all of those people, we will be very happy, and that does represent a significant part of society.
So let's all get together and make a vow: sell every 5 years if you can.
Let's make real estate agents great again.
Yeah, exactly right. Phil, that's a big wrap on this week's edition of GPTV. I'm sure there aren't a lot of people watching at the end, and hopefully not, because I'm sure we'll cop it for that comment. But we look forward to seeing you in April next week. I'm Gary Pearce.
I'm Philip Kingston. Enjoy your last week of March.